हेलो। हेलो। Good noon, sir. Have you joined? I'm not
सर
get.
अभी तक नहीं सर अभी तक नहीं आए हैं मैम।
पढ़ा सबने?
क्लास स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है। हेलो राधा मैम, क्लास स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है।
नहीं, अभी तक तो नहीं हुआ है।
नहीं हुआ है ना, वही बात।
मैं वही कह रही हूँ, आप लोगों ने सबने पढ़ लिया जो सर कल बोले थे।
नहीं हो पाया तो फिर।
मेरा भी नहीं हुआ, मैं तो अभी ऑफिस से आई हूँ। सोची थोड़ा बहुत रात को पढ़े थे बस। If anybody is interested, please discuss something. Until sir join us.
हेलो हेलो
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm audible, right? अरे मते
Yes,
जानिनी
sir.
मु केमती कोनडा हुए मते से जो लोकोटा भी हम इग्नोर लोक से भी लिंक कर दोनाती एनीवे प्लान में आशा पर इमीडिएटली मते लिंक कोटा पठे दबो मोगु
Sir.
Okay, sir.
जे विकास को मु जानि परली विकास लिंक देला पर जे मु जानि परथनि मु 15 मिनिट
ओहो
बसले केमती को लिंक करी बोली
आमे वेट करूछु
हां लिंक होता हेला जे विकास बोली पिला टी सी एक्चुअली कर देला नले मु
ओहो
बसले केते बेले मु जानि परनी केमती हबो बोली
ओहो
एनीवे तमरो तुमे काली 4टा बजे को 5 मिनिट थो लिंक दे देले मु रेडी हो जीवी
सर
Okay, sir.
सर
ମୁଁ ଜାଣିପାରୁନା ତୁମେ ସବୁ ପିଲା ଜାଣିଛ ସବୁ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷ କେମିତି କଣ କଣ ଲିଙ୍କ ବି ମୁଁ ଆମେ ଜାଣିନୁ ସବୁ ଆମେ ବୁଢା ଲୋକ ଜାଣିନୁ ଏସବୁ ବିଷୟରେ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏନିୱେ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ ଆଜି କହିବି ଏବାଉଟ୍ ମେଥଡ୍ସ କାଲି କହୁଥିଲି ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କଣ ଏବଂ କେମିତି କଣ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ଉପରେ ସବୁ ତୁମେ କହିବ କାଲି କହିଥିଲି ମୁଁ ତାର ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ଟାଇପ୍ କାଲି ଇଏ କରିଥିଲି ଆଜି କହିବି ମେଥଡ ଉପରେ କଣ କଣ ମେଥଡ ଆମେ ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛୁ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଆଇ ୱିଲ୍ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ସର୍ଭେ ମେଥଡ ଆମର ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁଛୁ ଆମେ କେତେବେଳେ ପଦ୍ଧତିରେ ବା ଉପାୟରେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁ ଦି ୱେ ହାଉ ଟୁ କଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ
Hmm.
ସେଥିରେ ଆମର କେତେବେଳେ ମେଥଡସ୍ ରହିଛି ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ସର୍ଭେ ଏଇଟାକୁ ତୁମେ ସବୁ ଜାଣିଛ ଇନ୍ ସର୍ଭେ ମେଥଡ ୟୁ ନୋ commonly we give opinion suppose there is a question who will be the prime minister of India in the next election
Hmm.
you can't ask all the Indians. So you can make a survey.
Hmm.
How can you make a survey? So survey is just collecting opinion.
Hmm.
So nowadays, the most important area of research tools in the field of applied social psychology science is survey research. The term survey, I mean, survey only, the term survey can be defined as a process which may involve in investigation or in examination or in assessment in the form of short paper and pencil feedback form to an intensive one-on-one in-depth interview. ମାନେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଆମର ସର୍ଭେ କହୁଛୁ ମେଥଡଟା the survey method is a process which involves investigation or examination or assessment
Hmm.
in the form of paper pencil feedback মানে question answer
Hmm.
or in an interview in depth interview ତେଣୁ ଆମର ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ସର୍ଭେ ମେଥଡ ଏଠି ଆମେ ଟୁଲ ୟୁଜ କଣ କରୁ ଆମ ଟୁଲ ହେଉଛି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନିୟର we use questionnaire and here we use also other tools is a method to in this method by using the tools we gather data or information about people about their thoughts and about their behaviors then basically the survey method is involving asking questions
Hmm.
or involving giving a questionnaire they will make tick marks in pencil or you can make interview So these things involved in survey research. This method of survey is non-experimental. ଆମର ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ କାହା କୁହନ୍ତି? ଯୋଉଠି ଆମେ କାଲି କହିଥିଲି ଆମେ ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ୍ ନେଉ, ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ୍ ନେଉ ଏବଂ ଆମେ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କରୁ। କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କରିକି ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ୍କୁ ମାନିପୁଲେଟ୍ କଲେ, ମୁଭ୍ କଲେ ଆମର ଯେଉଁ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ହୁଏ ଆମେ ତାକୁ କହୁ ଫାଇଣ୍ଡିଙ୍ଗସ୍। କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଠି ଆମର ସେମିତି ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ୍ କିଛି ନାହିଁ। ଏଠି ଯଦି କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କରୁନୁ ଆମେ, ନଥିଙ୍ଗ ଇଜ୍ ବିଙ୍ଗ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ। So here this method, survey method, is involving observation, and here we are not controlling a variable, but when you ask questions, actually we are getting the answers into the result. The answer itself is the result. The data is their answer. So here you are not manipulating anything. No variable is manipulated. So in this survey research, we collect data with the help of questionnaires or interview, and these questionnaires are called tools. They are called standardized tools. Standardized means they are balanced tools. They are balanced statistically. The survey method is one technique applied to social research, where you can collect data both in direct way, that is face-to-face interview, or indirect way, that is from the observation of their opinions given or collected from different institutes, from library, from journals, so like that. So here we get data from face-to-face directly, or also we get data indirectly. So here the data is received from the people either through questionnaire or through asking questions directly front to front, and this data can be collected in two ways. So now the survey is a very simple method, simple technique. So here you don't go to laboratory, here you don't go to any technique. Simply we prepare some questionnaire, and these questionnaires are given, and the answer to question or the responses to the questionnaire is a data where from we make conclusion about the individual. So now I am going to tell about the steps. What are the steps in conducting survey research? So now first of all, may I know whether you are clear about the survey method?
No, sir.
ବୁଝିପାରିନ? ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ମେଥଡଟା ସର୍ଭେ ମେଥଡ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଅଛି, ଆମର ଯୋଉ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ହଉଛି ସେଥିରେ ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ଟେକ୍ନିକ୍ ଅଛି, ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ମେଥଡ ଅଛି। ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ସର୍ଭେ ମେଥଡ, ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡ, ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ଫିଲ୍ଡ ମେଥଡ। ଆମର ସବୁଥିରେ ଆମର କ'ଣ ହଉଛି ନା we are having observation. Any research is basing upon observation, and here in survey method is a very simple method on this of research, where we observe the responses of the subject or the individual by getting answer to questions. We give some questions and he gives some answers, and we observe from the answers what he is, or what is his behavior, or what he wants. So here the method is only involving asking questions either through questionnaire, or asking questions through interview, or asking questions through other forms. So from this answer of the people or individuals, we collect information or data about the individual. Can you just get the idea about survey?
Yes, sir.
ଆମର ଯୋଉ ସର୍ଭେ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦଉଛି ତୁମକୁ। ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛୁ ଏଥର ମନେକର ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଭୋଟ ହବ 2024ରେ ଭୋଟ ହବ, ଜୁଲାଇ ମାସରେ କି ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବରରେ କେତେବେଳେ ଭୋଟ ହବ, ଆମର କିଏ ଜିତିବ, ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ କିଏ ଆସିବ ରୁଲିଂ ଏଗେନ୍? Will BJP come, or will Congress come, all will their India party come? Who will come? How can you know? So here actually we have to conduct a survey. So how can you make a survey? So here the survey method is only asking questions. But now the problem is, can you ask question to all the Indians? No. So in some cities, you will ask a group of people some questions. You can ask them, who will be the next Prime Minister of India? Which party will lead the boards? How many votes will come to BJP? Like this, you ask questions to a group of people in different cities. And that response from the people in the city, you make a conclusion that BJP will come to power in the next election. And BJP may get 400 plus seats in the next election. Or Modi will be Prime Minister in the next election. And this you get from city-wise survey. And the survey is only asking questions and getting answer, or making interview to the people and getting their views. Are you clear now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So survey method is a very
Direct method.
is a very important method, because you to know something quickly about the large in a large scale, to know something quickly. This method is very useful, and in politics, also in other fields, you know, the survey can give you a quick information. This survey method is conducted in a different way. So it involves 7 steps. Steps 1. So here in the step 1, there is a determination of the aims and objectives of the study. This means here you decide what you will survey, upon whom you will survey, in which area you will survey. So you determine this. That is the aim and objectives of the study. Then step 2, then you define the population on whom you will survey. Are you making a survey in the people of India, or people of Pakistan, or people of any other country, to know about Indian politics? So suppose you are asking who will be the next Prime Minister to a group of people in Pakistan. That is a survey. They can say, in Pakistan, there is a craze for Modi. So now you see, even if you ask in the city of Lahore, or you ask in the city of Peshawar or Karachi, to a group of people, who will be Prime Minister of India, you will find, suppose you are asking 20 persons in city of Lahore, you will find after 20, all 20 will tell Modi will come the next election as Prime Minister. So that is survey. So now the question is, define the population. So the population where you want to study, or in India or outside India. If India, so where in cities or in rural area. So that is selecting population. That is called target population. Target means on whom you want to make the survey. Number 3, so design of the survey. So how to construct a survey, or how to design a survey. So here, if you conduct a survey, so you select the instrument, tools, or questionnaire. So whether you want to go door to door, or whether you want to ask in telephonic interview, either you want to interview personally, or you want to make telephonic interview. So, or you give questions through mail and get answers. That is the design. How to make a survey. And 4th, so select sample on whom you will survey. So you are taking the people for survey. But who are the people? Are they representing the population or not? Suppose you want to take a survey in city of Bhubaneswar. You want to make a survey. So where from you have to take the people? Should you take the people who are in the Basti people, staying in Basti? Suppose you are taking the people who are in the platform session part. Or you are taking people who are in the universities, students, or you are taking the people who are in just in a great function gathering. So you take these people who can be best representative. And here in Bhubaneswar, suppose you want to take the people on who want to get survey, maybe better you would take from the universities, or you would take a group of professors, a group of, the people who are assembling somewhere in the function. So now to decide who should represent the people here, or what should be the representative sample. Then fourth, you now administer the survey. So now you are conducting survey. So here you administer the tool, instrument on the people who have selected. You take a sample, and on the sample you give the test. And this step helps you in collecting the required data. Then step 5, analyze the data. The answer you got, and you analyze that. So gradually you make the data. How many told yes? Suppose the question you are given, is Modi coming as Prime Minister? You say, how many given yes? How many given no? How many have not answered? So the data has to be now analyzed. And then after getting the result, you make a report that you made a survey, and the survey we took a sample of 100 people. Out of 119 people told, or they gave a view that Modi will be the next Prime Minister. And 6 persons gave the vote or gave the opinion that Rahul Gandhi will be Prime Minister. And other 2 persons, they did not give an answer. So now you can say that in the next election, the survey says that Modi will be Prime Minister, not Rahul Gandhi. Isn't it? So could you get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
this result you get from a survey, and after getting the result, you communicate. Communicate means you just give the news in the media, or you give in journal, or you give in a newspaper, and you say that we made a survey, and in survey this happened. That is all about survey, and all these steps are indicating the survey. Now here again we are coming the instruments used in survey, and instruments means type
pen,
of whatever tools you are using,
paper,
and the
question
paper
like
tools questionnaires, right? So
sampling.
predominantly there are major ways which can be used in an instrument in collecting survey research, and they are being explained in major 2 or 3 ways. So first way is sampling. So here you use the sample. So for example, suppose you are taking a survey in the organization, and here you can now ask the people about their attitude on the company. Somebody working in a company, you take their attitude. For the attitude, you can know the job satisfaction. Suppose you are working in a company, or working in a college, or working in any office. And the question is asked, how do you like the boss here? How do you like the work atmosphere here? Whether you are getting suitable incentive, pay or not, whether your work is recognized or not. So from this, we study your attitude. From the attitude, you know the job satisfaction. So here, can you ask all the people in the company? Can you ask all the people working in the office? No. You take a sample. So which one you will take? You can take, there are 3, 4 grades, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 employees. So from all the grades, you take 2 sample, or 3 from each grade. And then you make a sample of 12, consisting 3 from each category. Then that sampling is required when you conduct a survey, right? Next is questionnaire. The questionnaire you are preparing should be standardized. And the questionnaire standardized means the items should be valid items. I told you yesterday reliability, validity. Validity means it must appear like suitable. So appearing suitable, validity, and predictable or consistent reliability. So the items should be valid. That is standardized. And here the items, the questionnaires can be of three types. One is mail survey, and by postal. Then the group administered, you can make you can take a group and give a questionnaire to the group, and all the people can give answer.
Sir, 1 second, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, Radha madam टिके sir कहतु प्लीज टिके ना को म्यूट करिवे टिके sir.
Oh,
Okay,
अच्छा
sir.
राधा अग्रवाल
हाँ sir, म्यूट हो गया sir.
रानी गुड. हाँ, very good. अरे पिलाने तुम्हें सब कही दो मते.
आगे sir.
मुझा कुछ सब are you getting?
Yes sir, yes sir.
ମୁଁ ତରବରରେ କହୁଛି
ना ना sir, ठीक है
ଚାଲିଛି କାରଣ ସାରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ବୋଲି ମୁଁ ତରବର ହଉଛି.
ना ना
ମତେ
sir,
ନିଜକୁ ବି
complete
ଖରାପ ଲାଗୁଛି.
sir हमको चारटा अपन चारिटा दिन रे हम चारटा ब्लॉक कंप्लीट କରିବାକୁ पड़ियो sir.
ହଁ ପୁରା ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ବଡ କଷ୍ଟ କଥା.
ना ना sir,
ମୁଁ ବି
हम
ଯେମିତି
सर पर डे हमर गोटे ब्लॉक शेष କରିବାକୁ पड़ियो sir. से ठीक से अनुसार
ପୁରା ସେଇଆ
देखि
problem
अपन
ହଉଛି.
टाइम मैनेजमेंट करी शेष କରିବାକୁ चेष्टा करନ୍ତୁ प्लीज.
ମୁଁ ତ ମତେ ନିଜକୁ ଖରାପ ଲାଗୁଛି ଯେ ତମକୁ କେମିତି ତରବରରେ ପଢଉଛି ତମେ
ना ना
ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ କି
sir,
ନାହିଁ.
ठीक ଅଛି.
ତମ ପିଲାମାନେ ଫ୍ରାଙ୍କଲି ପଚାର, ଟାଇମ ପଛେ ଯାଉ ପଛେ ପଚାର, ମୁଁ ତ କହିଛି ତୁମେ ପଚାରି ପାରିବ ପର୍ସନାଲି ମଧ୍ୟ. ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଏଇ ଯୋଉ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଗୋଟେ ମେଲ୍ ସର୍ଭେ. ଆଚ୍ଛା, ମେଲ୍ ସର୍ଭେ ତ ତୁମେ ଜାଣିଛ ସେ ଇଜି ଭେରି. ଏଠି ଥ୍ରୁ ମେଲ୍ ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ କଲେକ୍ଟ ଡାଟା. ଆଚ୍ଛା, ପୋଷ୍ଟାଲ ହେଇପାରେ, ଆଜିକାଲି ତ ମେଲ୍ ବାହାରିଲାଣି, ଇମେଲ୍ ଦେଇପାରିବ, ପୋଷ୍ଟାଲ ହେଇପାରିବ. So here you can send the question and you can get the answer. And also group information or group administration. And third ହଉଛି କ'ଣ ଯେ ହାଉସ ହୋଲ୍ଡ. ଘର ବୁଲିକିରି ଆମର ବେଳେ ଘର ବୁଲିକିରି ସବୁ କରନ୍ତିନି ଯେଉଁ ସେନ୍ସସ୍ ହୁଏ. ଦେଖି ତ ଘରେ ସବୁ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ସ୍କୁଲ ଟିଚର ମାନେ ବୁଲିକିରି ସବୁ ଡାଟା ନିଅନ୍ତି. ସେନ୍ସସ୍ ଘରେ କେତେ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ମେମ୍ବର, କେତେ ମେଲ୍, କେତେ ଫିମେଲ୍, କେତେ ନିଅନ୍ତିନି. ସେ ହେଉଛି ହାଉସ ହୋଲ୍ଡ ସର୍ଭେ. ତେଣୁ ତୁମେ ସର୍ଭେ ତିନି ପ୍ରକାର. ଯେଉଁ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନିଆର ହେଉଛି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନିଆର you can ask through question or you can ask through interview. Interview ହେଉଛି person to person, face to face. ଆଉ questionnaire ହେଉଛି ତୁମେ you give questions and get the answer. ଆମର ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁଟା ଟିକେ ଆମର ଆହୁରି ବେଶୀ ଟିକେ ବେଟର, ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେବଲ୍. ଆମେ ଯେଉଁ ନଉ ଯେଉଁ ସର୍ଭେ ନଉ ଏବାଉଟ୍ ହାଉସ ହୋଲ୍ଡ ସର୍ଭେ, ଏ ଯେଉଁ ସେନ୍ସସ୍ ଉପରେ ଆମେ ନଉ. ଆଜିକାଲି ଯେଉଁ ସର୍ଭେ ହେଉଛି ଗ୍ୟାସ୍ ଉପରେ, ତମେ ଗ୍ୟାସ୍ ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛ କି ନାହିଁ? ସବୁ ଝିଅମାନଙ୍କ ଲେଡ଼ିମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଭାରି ଘରେ ସବୁ ତାଙ୍କର ୟୁଜ୍ କରନ୍ତି ଗ୍ୟାସ୍. ତାଙ୍କୁ ପଚରାଯାଏ ତମେ ଗ୍ୟାସ୍ ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛ କି ନାହିଁ, କେଉଁ ଗ୍ୟାସ୍ ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛ, କେତେଟା ସିଲିଣ୍ଡର ନେଉଛ, ମାସକୁ ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛ. ସେ ଅଲ୍ ଦିସ୍ ସର୍ଭେ ହେଉଛି. ଏଇ ସର୍ଭେ ଯେଉଁ ହେଉଛି ହାଉସ୍ ଟୁ ହାଉସ୍ ବୋଲି କରନ୍ତି, ଏଇଟା ହାଉସ୍ ହୋଲ୍ଡ. ତେଣୁ ତୁମର ଏଇ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନିଆର ଗୋଟେ ଗଲା. ଆଉ ଥାର୍ଡ ହେଲା ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ. ନା ସି ଗୋଟେ ସାମ୍ପଲିଂ, ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନିଆର. ଥାର୍ଡ ହେଲା ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ. ସାମ୍ପଲିଂରେ what type of sample you will select? The sample must be the representative sample. The cross section or the group should represent the whole. And questionnaire, what type of questionnaire you make in application? I mean, you are having mail survey, or you are having group survey, or you are having a household survey. Third is interview. An interview, you directly ask the questions. It's a face-to-face interaction. Interview, they give honest answers. And here the interviewer, I mean the person who is interviewing, you are the researcher, you are interviewing, so you are the interviewer. So they work directly with the respondent. And unlike the questionnaire, the interviewer has the opportunity to ask follow-up questions. So questionnaire में दे दिला question से yes no कर दिले, किंतु interview रे you can follow up. तो गोटे पचारा क्वेश्चन, तुम घरे किए किए रहती, पुणी पचार केते जण मेल केते जण फीमेल, पुणी पचार तुम ऊपर बड़ के जण, तुम सान के जण. सो से फॉलो अप क्वेश्चन, से क्वेश्चन लिंक कर पचारि पार इंटरव्यू रे କିନ୍ତୁ क्वेश्चन आंसर कला बेलू जो क्वेश्चन रे तुम लिमिटेड ये कहीपर तुम क्योंकि डायरेक्टली किसी तुम कनेक्शन ना तेणु आमर जो इंटरव्यू करुचु ये इंटरव्यू आमर हूँ तीन प्रकार किमती गोटे हूँ स्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू स्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू आमर सब आमर क्वेश्चन तैयारी थाए प्रिपेयरिंग थाए या पचार बोली तुम पचार क्वेश्चन सब क्वेश्चन लेकिन क्वेश्चन गुड़ा पचार से आंसर तो कहते अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड क्वेश्चन से क्वेश्चन नहीं न तुम्हें तुम पचार तो क्वेश्चन पुणी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन तुम मन मन बाहरी आसो तेणु गोटे पचारा मन को पुणी कौन आस जोटा ठीक भाव पुणी आप पचार पार कि तुम जो क्वेश्चन तैयारी करन ये क्वेश्चन होची instantly you just prepare for asking question. In structured interview you have a structured set of questions or you have taken a line of you have taken a paper writing there what to ask, but in the unstructured interview you have not taken any prepared letter. Third is telephonic interview, and here over phone you can ask the subject or in the sample about the things you want to know and the data you can get. So now the interview can be either a structured interview, either unstructured interview or telephonic interview, right? Then we come to types of survey research. The survey research can be of two types, mostly two types. One is cross-sectional survey, the other is longitudinal survey. Here the cross-sectional survey means, so here somebody make a survey when he wants to collect data from different types of groups. For example, maybe in terms of age or sex or nation, like that at a single time. For example, you are making a survey. For example, males and females. So in India, for example, now you see, we make a survey about the Muslims, and BJP is now criticized to be, or is criticized as nationalistic and communalistic. कहते किंतु तेणु समस्त कहते कौन ना बीजेपी जो पार्टी तांको मुसलमान माने भोट देबे नहीं कहना बुझ कि नहीं.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
सपोज ना क्वेश्चन होची मुस्लिम भोट देबे कि नहीं अलग कथा. आम मुस्लिम मेल फिमेल नबा, मुस्लिम स्त्री लोक मान नबा, पुरुष लोक नबा, से माने सब इक्वाली आंटी बीजेपी ना पूर्व बीजेपी. देखिए गोटे at a stretch you can take 100 women from that category and 100 men from that category, and you will find out of 100 women 90 women will support Modi. Is not it? So why? So you make a survey, here is the cross-sectional survey. At the same time, different type of groups or different category of persons can be surveyed at a single day, in a single moment, single issue. But here in longitudinal survey, it is different. The same person is observed over time. For example, change in the behavior. So how you are behaving today, and after 1 month, again how you are behaving. So attitude change, behavior change, some changing. So they are observed, or actually they even asked today, how do you feel like Indian development in this administration? After 1 month again they will ask, how do you feel? So now longitudinal. And here longitudinal means here you want to study the same sample for a longer period of time. But cross-sectional means you want to study of different groups at a single time. So here in the cross-sectional you make a study in a single time, and here we make a study in a longer time. or longer period of time. So longitudinal survey is time consuming and cross-sectional survey is very sudden, very instant also. And here the longitudinal survey is having 3 subcategories. And here we can first have trend studies, second cohort studies, and third panel studies. So the trend studies. So here the sample of the population may not be same, may be different, but they belong to the same population. For example, I'm going to naba population of India naba, the sample नौचो हमें sample रे तुम्हें इंडिया हिंदू नौचो, मुस्लिम नौचो, Christian नौचो, every people you are taking, not only Hindu or not only Muslim, and here you in the sample you are taking different members of the population, and this population can be examined regularly. आज कल गोटे ग्रुप से ग्रुप रु देख लो तापर आ गोटे गैप नहीं करी पुणी सेमती आ गोटे ग्रुप से पॉपुलेशन रु आ टेस्ट कल ताले ट्रेंड जानिबो गोटे ट्रेंड माने गोटे यार ट्रेंड टा कौन लोक कौन एग्जांपल दउछि इन सोशल साइंस वी आर यूजिंग ए तमे लोक ने को साबुन भल पाती साबुन अच्छी सनलाइट अच्छी लाइफ बॉय अच्छी और आउ कौन साबुन सब अच्छी तेणु तुमको पचरागला गोटे ग्रुप नहीं करी 10 जन को निगला 10 प्रकार कैटेगोरी रूरल एरिया अर्बन एरिया मिसिक सब से पॉपुलेशन रो इंडियन पॉपुलेशन रो पचरागला सब तुम कौ साबुन भल पाओ से कहले आम भल पाचु सनलाइट साबुन तेरे आफ्टर 6 months आ गोटे ग्रुप से भाया अर्बान रूरल सब मिसेक नहीं आ पचार कौन भल पाओ से कहले आम भल पाचु सनलाइट तुम कह आगु भल पाच सनलाइट ए भल पाँच मैंने ट्रेंड टा कौन ना पीपुल आर लाइकिंग सनलाइट सो बेटर और मोर ए ट्रेंड स्टडीज वी आर गेटिंग ए ट्रेंड से भाया यू आर गेटिंग ए ट्रेंड इन भोटिंग आगु कटेस्टिंग क्या भोट दब सी कहते समाज तले बीजेपी की एवं पचार तो क्या दब है बीजेपी की तमें ट्रेंड आउट कौन द ट्रेंड इज टुवर्ड्स बीजेपी दैट इज ए ट्रेंड स्टडी
सर आम जहाँ कह फ्लो
हाँ फ्लो तक मीन कर पार ट्रेंड हूँ कौन तुम कौ ट्रेंड कौन ट्रेंड माने कौन संकेत पाच माने इंडिकेशन पाच राइट तो फ्लो बोली कहला आ गोटे वाइडर हो
सर आम कथबार्ता को नहीं आंकर
हाँ।
फ्लो चली बर्तमान माने आंकर बर्तमान ट्रेंड चलती जोटा
ट्रेन और फ्लो सामान हेनी तुम जो फ्लो फ्लो चलती कथा फ्लोटा या कथार फ्लोटा या मीनिंग मैं तुम जो कह तुम कथार फ्लोटा मैंने धाराटा कौन जाऊँगी मैंने तुम कह मीनिंग कर ट्रेन टा एक्चुअली हूँ तुम कौन संकेत पाच तो संकेत पाच फ्लोटा गोटे धारा जाऊँगी माने कौन से माने एमती चाहिए गोटे ये रफली एका कथा किंतु देखला बेलू फ्लोटा टी आउ गोटे प्रकार जिनस माने फ्लोटा टी आहरी माने पावरफुल किंतु इंडिकेशन हूँ कौन कौन से माने व्हाट इंडिकेशन यू गेट
ओके सर
अच्छा तापर जो कोर्ट स्टडीज ये जो कोर्ट स्टडीज ये कौन हो इट ए लॉन्गिट्यूडनल स्टडी on a particular population where sample studied more than once within its time graph. गोटे टाइम ग्राफ रे तांकू सेम sample इज रिपीटेड मगर 2009 रे तुम ग्रुप नहीं थिलो अबाउट लाइब्रेरी स्टडीज केते पिला लाइब्रेरी के आछन कौन जानिया पई से 2009 ग्रुप रो जो लोक थिले लिस्ट रे 2009 रे तुम गोटे लिस्ट कर 100 जनकर नहीं 20 जन को नहीं देख लाइब्रेरी जो बही से पढ़ुंट कौ कौ प्रकार बही पढ़ुंट व्हाट इज द चॉइस ऑफ बुक्स से ग्रुप रु 20 जन नहीं तांकर भ्यू नहीं गल पुणी 3 वर्ष पर कि 4 वर्ष पर कि 5 वर्ष पर से जो 20 जन आउ से ग्रुप रो आउ 20 जन नब पचार तुम जो लाइब्रेरी यूज कर कौ कौ बही यूज कर तेणु तुम देख ये से ग्रुप लोक जहाँ तुम सांपल नहीं गोटे ग्रुप ग्रुप करी तुम बारंबार पचारुच तो यहाँ कोहर्ट स्टडीज ओपिनियन नौ पैनल स्टडीज ये जो पैनल स्टडी कौन हो the same sample of people every time and the sample is called panel आमर ये कौन कौन ना देख कोहर्ट स्टडी रे गोटे ग्रुप नहीं गलु गोटे नहीं गलु पॉपुलेशन आइडेंटिफाई कलु तादेह गोटे से पॉपुलेशन जो नेलु आम दैट इज सैंपल पॉपुलेशन माने 100टा लोक नहीं गलु जहाँ स्टडी करूँ इतु 20टा को देलु 20टा स्टडी कलु 5 वर्ष पर आगे स्टडी कलु 5 वर्ष पर आगे स्टडी कलु देखु आम चॉइस कौन ये कोहर्ट स्टडीज बुझल तापर ये हूँ कि पैनल रे तुम से लोक जो लोग नहीं से लोक रिपीट कर स्टडी कर सैंपल इज सेम सो एवरी टाइम यूज द सेम सैंपल तो जो 20 जन नहीं पुणी एगेन से 20 जन नब तेणु ये पैनल स्टडीज तेणु ट्रेंड स्टडी पैनल स्टडी कोहर्ट स्टडी अच्छा ये कौन बुझीपार कि ना कह मत क्लियर करदेवी
कोहर्ट रे और पैनल रे डिफरेंस कोन रहिला ताली
हाँ बेस्ट एग्जैक्टली गुड क्वेश्चन अच्छा ये कौन हो ट्रेंड रे तुम जो लोक नौ ये जो कोहर्ट नौच गोटे नौच गोटे ग्रुप तुम सिलेक्ट कर 100 जन को बाछिल 100 जन को 20 जन नेल बाकी 20 जन पुणी आउे नब से 100 बाछिच किंतु ट्रेन रे सेमती नहीं ट्रेन रे तुम तो ग्रुप नहीं गल ओडिशा रु आउट ग्रुप नहीं गलनी बिहार रु आउट ग्रुप नहीं गलु बॉम्बे रु बुझ नहीं किंतु एटी कोहर्ट रे तुम नहीं ओडिशा रु नहीं गोटे ग्रुप से ओडिशा रु 100टा नहीं ये 100 रु तुम आगे पथ 10 टी नेल से जो बाकी 90 रही से ओडिशा ग्रुप आउ 10 नब 2 वर्ष पर पुणी 3 वर्ष पर से ओडिशा ग्रुप 2 वर्ष पर नब तापर से तुम हूँ कोहर्ट ग्रुप बुझिपाल कि नहीं
सर
तुम जो नौच जो कोहर्ट आउ ट्रेंड रे तुम अलग अलग लोक ग्रुप नौच किंतु ट्रेन रे तुम जो अलग ग्रुप नौच फ्रॉम डिफरेंट पार्ट्स तुम पॉपुलेशन डिफरेंट किंतु जो कोहर्ट रे नौच सेम पॉपुलेशन मींस जोटा तुम चूज करिच ता भितर नौच तुम 100 बाछिच गोटे ग्रुप जहाँ पर सर्वे कर बोली से 100 रु सपोज 50 नेल आमर एवं नेल 2024 रे आउ 50 नब 2029 रे
सर आम जहाँ जो कहूँ सब सैंपल जोटा कहूँ सैंपल
हाँ सैंपल सब सैंपल जहाँ कहूँ एक्जाक्टली सैंपल नेल गोटे 100 सब सैंपल 50-50 करदेल किंतु एटी कौन ट्रेंड रोचे तुम जो 50 नौच से सैंपल जो नहीं 100 रु 50 से 50 नुहे 50 नेल इटू आउ 50 आउ गोटे नेल बुझ नहीं पैनल रे जो नहीं 50 से 50 सो पैनल इज रिपीटिंग कोड इज not repeating but taking a parallel form of the same sample and in the train you are taking a sample from a different category from the different form but in a gap so train cohort panel got the idea कुछ कहो ना कहीं बुझ पाना कि
yes sir
सर वी हैव म्यूटेड
बस ना बोले कह दो ना नले मु तो पुनी कहबी ना अच्छा how to construct a survey research so now you see you decide the content scope activity question select the format decide how to frame the questions decide how to make questions relevant एगुड़ा सब तुम लिखाई जो सर्वे इन्स्ट्रुमेंट जो सर्वे मैंने क्वेश्चन जो कर केमती कर कौन कर सब तो देखाई कारण देखो जे ये ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि नहीं ये तुम पर्पस सॉल्व कर फर्माटा जो कर तुम्हें এটা ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ acceptable ହବ କି ନାହିଁ ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ ବୁଝିପାରିବେ କି ନାହିଁ ଏ ଗଲା। ନେକ୍ସଟ ହେଲା କ'ଣ ଟାଇପ୍ସ ଅଫ୍ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ସ ଇନ୍ ସର୍ଭେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ। ଏ ଯେଉଁ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ତିଆରି କରୁଛ ସର୍ଭେରେ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ କଲେ ଅଲଗା, ଏ ଯେଉଁ ସର୍ଭେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ତିଆରି କରୁଛ ଏ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ କେମିତି କରୁଛ? ଏ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ତୁମର ଦୁଇ ପ୍ରକାରର, ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍, ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ଅନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ସ। ଯେଉଁ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହେଉଛି ତୁମର ଯେଉଁଟା ପ୍ରି ପ୍ଲାନ୍ ପ୍ରି ଡିଫାଇନ୍ ସେଇ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହେଲା ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍। ଫର୍ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ୍ ମୁଁ ଆଗରୁ କହିଛି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ଅନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ। ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ ମାନେ ପ୍ରି ପ୍ଲାନ୍, ଅନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ ମାନେ no planning all of a sudden. So here the question is structured. So that means it is well planned, pre-planned, arranged, pre-defined a question ସବୁ। এই ଯେଉଁ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ତିନି ପ୍ରକାରର। ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା କ'ଣ ନା ଡାଇକୋଟମସ୍ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍, ଗୋଟେ ଲେଭେଲ୍ ଅଫ୍ ମେଜରମେଣ୍ଟ ବେସ୍ଡ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଫିଲ୍ଟର ଅର୍ କଣ୍ଟିଜେନ୍ସି କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍। ଏ ଯେଉଁ ଡାଇକୋଟମସ୍ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ that means dichotomous two sides. ଗୋଟେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିବ you like do you like Modi to be the prime minister? ତୁମର ଆନ୍ସର ଥିବ yes or no. ଡାଇକୋଟମସ୍ ଯୋଡ଼ିଏ ଥିବ ତୁମର ଅପସନ୍ either yes or no. ଯଦି yes କହିବ ଆମେ ଜାଣିଲୁ ଯେ ତୁମେ ଏଗ୍ରି କରୁଛ, ଯଦି no କରୁଛ ତୁମେ ଏଗ୍ରି କରୁନି। ଡାଇକୋଟମସ୍ ଜାଣିଲ କି ନାହିଁ? Also you can say like this, you are mentioning your sex, I mean you are male or female, dichotomous. You are writing male or tick, you get tick mark on the male, dichotomous. You can't write I am giving only two, male or female. You can't say male female or this third gender. I am not giving option for third gender. So I am giving only male female, not the third gender. So now the dichotomous, either male or female. Could you get him on? Could you get me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Then the next is the level of measurement best questions. And here you are having the level of measurement. Actually, in the statistics we are measuring by using different scales. You must be knowing it. Nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale. You know the scales, ratio scales. You must have heard this name of the scales. And here the nominal scale means names or classification of person or objects or group. For example, your category to which you belong, whether you are general or OBC or SC or ST, that is a classification. Or the names also you can say your titles, this or this or that, the titles. So these are nominal. Nominal means it is a linked to name or classification or categorization. So any name or any classification of person or any object or group, for example, democratic, authoritarian, dictatorship, ଏଇଭଳି ଗ୍ରୁପ୍ କହୁଛ ତୁମେ, ଏଇସବୁ ଆସିବ ଏଇ କାଟେଗୋରୀରେ। ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଜିନିଷଟା ଅଛି ଲେଭେଲ୍ ଅଫ୍ ମେଜରମେଣ୍ଟ। ସୋ ହିୟର୍ ୟୁ ଗିଭ୍ ଓନ୍ଲି କାଟେଗୋରୀ, ୟୁ ଗିଭ୍ ଏ ଟିକ୍ ମାର୍କ ଟୁ ହ୍ୱିଚ୍ କାଟେଗୋରୀ ୟୁ ବିଲଙ୍ଗ। ନମିନାଲ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଅର୍ଡିନାଲରେ ଆସିବ, ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ୍ ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକର ନାଁ ଦେଇଛ ତୁମେ, ସପୋଜ ୟୁ ଆର୍ ଗିଭିଂ ଦ ନେମ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦି ପ୍ରାଇମ୍ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ଚଏସ୍, ୟୁ ଆର୍ ଗିଭିଂ ସମ୍ ନେମ୍। ନମ୍ବର 1 ୟୁ ଆର୍ ଗିଭିଂ ଏ ନେମ୍ ମୋଦି। Number 2 you are giving the name of Aurobindo Kejriwal. Number 3 you are giving to serially number 3 Mamata Banerjee. Serial number 4 Rahul Gandhi. Super number 5 like this. So they have to give you the rank. So out of 5 choices, rank 1 given to Modi, rank 2 given to whom I do not know, Arvind Kejriwal ki Mamata Banerjee ki kahaku लोग देवे से we can't know the train. तमें जेन भावुछ गोटे काकू देबे बोली मुझ भावुछ कि the train is not clear, but Modi is clear, so he is getting rank 1. So the rank 1 पाउची it is ordinal scale. Similarly the other one is, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here you are giving the rank. and the other one is the filter or contingency question. And here, so suppose you are giving yes, the question is, have you ever regularly attended the library of a university? तो दिया चाहिए yes or no. तो यदि yes कलो, then why yes or how many times yes or what you are doing like that, what ଆସିବ. ଯଦି no କଲ, no ଆସିଲା ପୁଣି କ'ଣ ନା if yes, then how many times? Then once in a month, twice in a month, every week or month, each and every day month ଏସବୁ ଇଏ ହେଲା କ'ଣ? ଇଏ ହେଲା ତୁମର ସବୁ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁଅସ୍ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍. ମାନେ ଗୋଟିଏ ୟେସ୍ ନୋ ଗୋଟିଏ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ରୁ ଗୋଟିଏ ଆନ୍ସର୍ରୁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସବ୍ ଆନ୍ସର୍ ବି ଗୋଟିଏ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ରୁ କେତେବେଳେ ସବ୍ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ବି ତିଆରି ହେଉଛି. ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକ ତୁମର ହେଲା ଫିଲ୍ଟର୍ଡ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍. ବୁଝଛ କି ନାହିଁ? ଫର୍ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ୍ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ ଦେଖୁଥିଲି ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍ରେ ମାନେ ଜୋକ୍ରେ କହୁଥିଲା ସେ କହିଲା ତମେ ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକ ଗଲା ଚାହା ପିଇବ ବୋଲି, ଚାହା ପିଇବ ନା କେଉଁ ଚାହା ପିଇବ, ମାନେ ଚିନି ପଡ଼ିବ କି ନାହିଁ, without sugar na with sugar, na with sugar, na how much with the quantity, very much sweet, na less sweet, na moderate sweet, na less sweet, na less sweet means it's a sub question, right? So gote question ru it will be filtered into many. Clear? That is structured question. About unsstructured question, there is no planning. So he just to ask question informally. जहाँ आसला मन को पचार फॉर एग्जांपल तुम्हें कौन तुम्हें तुमको राजनीति भल लगे ना तुम्हें डू यू नो पॉलिटिक्स और नॉट, डू यू लाइक पॉलिटिक्स और नॉट, इफ यू लाइक पॉलिटिक्स देन व्हाट टाइप ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स यू वांट, डू यू वांट नेशनलाइजेशन और द नेशनलिस्टिक पार्टीज और नॉट, or like this you can ask anything question you comes to mind, you can ask, from that you can get an idea. Or you can ask Modi is ruling for the last 8 years, what trend is there in the national scenario, what do you feel, what Congress did in 17 years, what Modi did in 8 years, like that. So what is the difference, like this you can ask. So these questions are unstructured, you have not prepared with the question. When you ask questions, in the flow of question you are asking something, and from that you get an idea. So now the question is, you are having precautions while designing instruments. So here the instrument means the questionnaires. While designing the instruments, now you see the items should be clear, specific, relevant, short. Never ask long questions. You ask short questions and clear questions. You must be specific. And the respondents of the research will be capable to answer the question. It must be clear to them. The researchers should have full empathy and should avoid the question which has a negative impact on the people. For example, you are asking, do you dislike Muslims? A negative question. Or do you dislike the Hindu dominance? A negative question. So the question must be avoided like this. So any religious or any such things which is affecting should be avoided. And lastly, the researchers should also avoid the bias. Sometimes there is a bias in putting somebody likes more about Modi. Suppose somebody you like Modi very much. Suppose you are asking questions more and more about Modi. Not like that. Don't have bias for Modi. If you are going for collecting opinion, then be equal. Right? These are all how to prepare the questions. So now the question is advantage of survey research. Advantage and disadvantage. The survey research has many advantages. It's convenient and it can be conducted for a longer time. And here you get full idea, and also the method is very, we get the real picture. And the disadvantage is sometimes maintaining privacy of response is important, and in survey that is a problem. And sometimes we are also having a type of negativity also develops. In longitudinal method, this type of tendency prevents for the next studies, for the later studies. So these are the disadvantages. And next is difficulties and issues of survey research. And the issue is first selecting the type of survey, which type of survey we want. Is it questionnaire or it is interview? And second issue is survey instrument. What instrument you are using? What type of question? Preparing question, structural question or unstructured question. And this bias issue, and whether the researcher has any bias or not. If you have prejudice, if you have a prejudice towards any religion, you should not be the person to ask. So the bias should not be there. And the administrative issue, that is the cost, how much cost is going to be given, if it is more time or more money, what is the feasibility. So all these things to be seen before the survey is applied. So survey is over. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we come to ex post facto research. So by the way, how many are you there today? Can you please tell me? I'm not able to
23,
see.
sir.
23?
Yes, sir.
Oh, very good. So now, ex post facto research. এটা ভারি মন ରଖ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ ଆଗରୁ କହିଛି এই ଯେଉଁ ମେଥଡୋଲୋଜିଟା ଭାରି କଷ୍ଟ ପାଠ କେହି ରାଜି ହୁଅନ୍ତିନି ତାକୁ ଇଏ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ତେଣୁ ତୁମେ ବୁଝିପାରନ୍ତିନି ମଧ୍ୟ ନ ବୁଝି କରିଦିଅନ୍ତି ସବୁ ତ ମୁଁ ଯାହା କହୁଛି ଟିକେ ମନେ ରଖ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ କହିଲି ଗୋଟେ କାହିଁକି ଏଟା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଏକ୍ସ ପୋଷ୍ଟ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟୋ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ମାନେ ଏଠି ମାନେ ତୁମର ଯେଉଁ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ହେଉଛି ମୋ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ହେଉଛି मेनली 3-4 प्रकार गोटे हूँ एक्सपेरिमेंटाल मेथड जोटि तुम इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल एक्सटेनियस वेरिएबल कल जो कहूली मु सब वेरिएबल थाए तुम्हें यू मैनिपुलेट इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल एंड यू सी द रिजल्ट ऑन द डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल एंड हियर यू कंट्रोल द एक्सटेनियस वेरिएबल तुम्हारा गोटे रिसर्च होची जो रिसर्च तुम किंतु यू आर एबल टू कंट्रोल तुम कंट्रोल कर पारन जो लैबोरेटरी करूच ताको मैं कहूचु सी हूँ आमर एक्सपेरिमेंटाल स्टडी बा एक्सपेरिमेंटाल रिसर्च कि जोड़ाक आम लैबोरेटरी कर पारुनु बा जोड़ाक आमर कंट्रोल बाहर वी आर नॉट एबल टू मैनिपुलेट इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल सेटा हूँ एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो रिसर्च तमने से जिनस आगुरी ऑलरेडी दे आर द ट्रेंड हैज ऑलरेडी डेवलप्ड एंड यू आर ऑब्जर्विंग ट्रेंड किंतु एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च रे कंट्रोल थाए बोली बोली आम ट्रेंड डेवलप करो उदाहरण दूसरी मु तो चाहूच करने गोटे स्टडी जे एटीट्यूड ऑफ higher caste Brahmins towards lower caste or attitudes of urban people to rural people तुम्हें ये एटीट्यूड डेवलप कला ऑलरेडी आमर जो एटीट्यूड से देखेबे लैबोरेटरी कौन हुए ना एटीट्यूड तैयारी न थाए एटीट्यूड तैयारी करे दियो तुम्हें बाय गिविंग स्टिमुलस किंतु इठी तुम स्टडी कर सोसाइटी सोशल रिसर्च रे ऑन एटीट्यूड तो कला बेलू स्टडी ऑलरेडी एटीट्यूड माइंड ऑलरेडी आगुरी माइंड रे एटीट्यूड प्रिजुडिस से सब तैयार हो जाइए पिला बेलू तमें खाली देखुच तमें यू कैन से जीरो एटीट्यूड और यू कैन से जीरो इंप्रेशन यू कैन से जीरो प्रिजुडिस इट इज देयर इन द माइंड एंड यू कंपेयरिंग. So it is post facto. Already there, it is there in the individual. And now we are going to compare. So therefore it is called ex post facto. किंतु एक्सपेरिमेंटाल स्टडी रे काली मु तुमको कहूली मनकर गोटे फिल्ड रे दौच मैन्यूअर गोबर दौच काउ डंग दौच अमोनियम सल्फेट दौच फर्टिलाइजर केमिकल दौच कौटा तुम बेसी कम दौर तेणु गोटे प्लट थर्ड प्लट नौच जोटे किसी दिहनी गोबर ना केमिकल ना ओनली पानी आउटारे केवल दौच गोबर आउटारे केवल दौच केमिकल केमिकल पानी गोबर पानी इटी खाली पानी ना कैन कंपेयर सेटा लगे तुम एक्सपेरिमेंटाल किंतु से भाया इटी सेमती गोटे किसी नथिला भाया किसी ना सब माइंड डेभलप कर आटीट्यूड कह कि इंप्रेशन कह ताको कंपेयर कर एक्सपोस्ट फैक्टो सो हियर द रिसर्च हैज ए कंट्रोल और कंपैरिजन ग्रुप गोटे कंपनी ग्रुप रही तो कंट्रोल ग्रुप कहूँ आम कंपनी कहूँ किंतु एक्चुअली वी डोंट हैव एनी कंट्रोल सो नाउ हियर द बिहेवियर द एक्शन और द इवेंट or the independent variable of the research cannot be manipulated or changed. So now behavior you can't manipulate. You can change the behavior. And the research focus on the effects. We only focus on the effect, but dependent variable. And research only analyzes how and what aspect of the event. Only analyze that. And also in this research, we explore the possible effects of the causes. We explore it. We are not very sure. तो आमर जो रिसर्च कहली तुमको मु गोटे एक्सपेरिमेंटाल गोटे एक्सपोस्ट मैटर देख कंपेयर टेबल करछि ए जे एक्सपेरिमेंटाल रिसर्च इट कंट्रोल ओवर इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इन द एक्सपोस्ट फैक्टर रिसर्च देयर इज नो कंट्रोल ओवर इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल एंड हियर इन द एक्सपेरिमेंटाल रिसर्च देयर इज randomization जो सब्जेक्ट नहीं रैंडमली नहीं जीव किंतु इठी तू नब एक्सपोस्ट फैक्टर रे रैंडमली नहीं पारिबनी नो रैंडमाइजेशन जहाँ मिले हेतिकी इटी कौन तुम सैंपलिंग टेक्निक जो नहीं रैंडम टेक्निक एटी पर्पसिव बा इटी एक्सीडेंटल जहाँ मिले तुमको जो लोग मिले ताकू नल thirdly we are manipulating variables. And in both the case, in the case of explanation, we are manipulating, but we cannot manipulate. And interpretation is common. We are taking data, and from data we are interpreting. So now, I think hopefully you all are able to know the difference between experimental research and ex post facto research. Are you all clear? In ex post facto देख तुमको मु कहूँ आटीट्यूड नौ तुमको से तुमको किए बेसी भल पाए ये बेसी भल पाती सी भल पाती भल पाती माने यू आर टेकिंग द रिलेटिव कंपैरिजन किंतु एक्सपेरिमेंटल तुम से सब ना यू आर जीरो रु तुम आरंभ कर ये मुझे देली तुम कंपैरिजन गोटे प्लॉट उपर सार दिखाऊँ बोली जीरो रु एति कौ ये सार देल के कौन हम देख से सार दब कौन हम देख मैनिपुलेटिंग ये किसी मैनिपुलेशन कर नो मैनिपुलेशन सो इन एक्सपेरिमेंटल स्टडीज एक्सपेरिमेंटल मेथड यू आर एबल टू मैनिपुलेट बट हियर यू आर नॉट एबल टू मैनिपुलेट व्हाट एवर यू आर गेटिंग यू आर ओनली ऑब्जर्विंग गेटिंग ए कंपैरिजन ये बेसिक ये कम सेठी किंतु यू आर मैनिपुलेटिंग यू आर एबल टू मेक जीरो ऑन लाइक दिस नो manure जीरो then this manure comparison manipulating. So all these points, you know, these 4 points 1 2 3 4 that is control, randomization, manipulation, all these things are there. If you read it clearly you can get the full idea of the difference between the experimental method and the ex post facto method. So now I am coming to the essentials or the requisites for informing causal relationship. So now I am seeing आमर साइंस कहूँ आमर जो एक्सपेरिमेंटल मेथड जे कहूँ आमर काम है टू फाइंड आउट कज इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप एटा एमती होउची यार कज कौन मु तुम कहली आमर आज वर्षा होउची व्हाई टुडे नॉट टुमारो वर्षा होउची ए सीजन रे व्हाई नॉट अदर सीजन्स व्हाई ये जो कज टा ये कज रो इफेक्ट ये कौन गोटे कज थो जाफले वर्षा होउची ये जो कज और इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप दैट इज स्टडीड इन साइंस दैट इज एक्सपेरिमेंटल मेथड किंतु हमर जो एक्सपोस्ट फैक्टर रिसर्च होउची आमे कज टाको पूरा कहि परिबा नाही आमे कज टाको एसोसिएट करबा कोरिलेट जेहेतु एटा होउची आ एटा होउची दे आर कोरिलेटेड साइमल्टेनियसली दिस हैपनिंग सो वी से दिस मे बी द कज किंतु एक्सपेरिमेंटल मेथड रे यू कैन गेट डेफिनेटली कज एटी किंतु यू कोरिलेट because of the order of events, because of the associated variation, both are having the same variation, or absence of this is causing the presence of this. So that way we make the correlated idea. So the correlation indicates the cause effect in this ex post facto research. But in experimental method, by manipulating the cause factor, we can see the effects. So we can say this is the cause, this is the effect. So here, these are the essentials through which we could know this is experimental method, this is ex post facto method. So the next step, the steps in ex post facto research. So earlier we did the research by taking so many steps. Those steps are mostly repeated here. So now the first step, determining the problem. अच्छा by the by, किसी idea है तो what is the ex post facto research? है चीज़ ने idea कहो?
Yes, sir.
हाँ,
Again, sir.
तेनु now determine the problem. So प्रथमे when you do research, the problem has to be determined. Second, I told you then to get the review literature. I told you yesterday. So problem, you want to make a study. So you prepare a problem. And the problem is not determined. This is the problem area, problem statement. So on this area, on this topic, on this particular topic, I will do this research. That is determining the problem. Then you collect literature review. Then you make hypothesis. I told you yesterday. Hypothesis. And the hypothesis may be either null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. This may be like this, this may not be like this. So that you can say. And then you go for designing. What designing you are using. So the design is here in ex post facto. You define the problem, then the hypothesis, then you need select a sample and the select the scale or the instrument, and then you get data. That is the designing, how you get the design. And then the validity of research, then the here whether you are using the method you are using is a valid method or not. You are interpreting, suppose the data, you are interpreting by using suitable statistical method or not. Sometimes you are interpreting by wrongly using statistics. So that cannot be used here. So the validity of research, whether the data has been properly analyzed, whether the data has been properly collected, whether the conclusion has been made by using proper interpretation. So all these things are validity. Then interpretation. So then you just get the data and you make the conclusion. You say that the hypothesis you have taken like this. Now the result is this. So hypothesis is verified. So these are the steps. And now the strength and weakness of ex post facto research.
Sir, one
The
question,
strength-
sir.
हाँ कहो.
Sir, जो steps of ex post facto ଆଉ experimental ଭିତରେ ସବୁ ତ sir steps ସବୁ ସମାନ ଅଛି sir.
हाँ सब हर समान है. सब समान है. सब
केवल
समान है.
sir
स्टेप
last-
सब समान है.
ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଇଣ୍ଟରପ୍ରିଟେସନ ଅଫ କନକ୍ଲୁଜନ ସେଗୁଟା ଯାହା ଟିକେ ଅଲଗା ରହିଛି ଟିକେ
ତାଙ୍କର ସେ ଶୁଣ ଗୋଟିଏ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ଖାଲି ଅଛି କ'ଣ ତୁମର ଏଥିରେ ଯୋଉ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ନଉଛ
Sir, experimental method if our hypothesis supports our results, then the experiment is right.
ରାଇଟ୍ ହଁ
Although if our hypothesis does not support our results, then the experiment is wrong.
ତାପରେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଡିଜାଇନ କରୁଛୁ ଡିଜାଇନିଂ ଟିକେ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ହବ ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ଡିଜାଇନ କରୁଛୁ ସେଠି ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡରେ ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଏଇ ହେଲା ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ ଇଏ ହେଲା ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ ଇଏ ହେଲା ଏକ୍ସଟର୍ନାଲ ୱେ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ଦିସ୍ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀରେ ଆମେ ଏତିକି ଜିନିଷ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କରିବା
Sir,
ଅଛି
ଗୋଟେ ଥିଙ୍ଗ ଜଣ ଯୋଉ ଏକ୍ସ ପୋଷ୍ଟ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟରରେ ଆମ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ଟା ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇପାରେ ମେ ବି ନେଇ ନପାରେ ନା ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ଯାହା ଥିବ ଆମ କନକ୍ଲୁଜନ ସେ ପଡୁ
ନାଇଁ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ କିଛି ଫରକ ହବନି ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ତୁମର ସବୁ ଇମାଜିନାରୀ ହ୍ୱାଟଏଭର ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ଟେକ୍
Sir,
କିନ୍ତୁ କିଛି ତୁମର
experimental
ମେନଲି ତୁମର ମେନ୍ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ହଉଛି ଏ ଯୋଉ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ଡିଜାଇନ ତାଙ୍କ ଡିଜାଇନରେ ସେଥିରେ ଯୋଉ ନଉଛ ତୁମେ ଅଲଗା ଏଥିରେ ଅଲଗା
ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡରେ ଯେମିତି ଆମେ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ଯାହା ନଉଛେ ଆମ
ହଁ
ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ସେଇଆ ପଡିବା ଦରକାର।
ଆମର ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ନଉଛୁ ଆମର ଯୋଉ
ଏଠି
ମେଥଡରେ
ସାର୍ ଏଠି ବାକି ଏକ୍ସପୋ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟରରେ ଆମେ
ହଁ
ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ଯାହା ନବା ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ସେଇଆ ପଡିପାରେ ମେ ବି ସେଇଆ ପଡି ନପାରେ ନାଇଁ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ସେଇଆ
ସବୁଥିରେ ସେୟା ତମେ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ନବ ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟା ସେମିତି ହବ ବୋଲି ମାନେ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ତୁମର ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ ମେଥଡ ଗୁଡାକ ଯୋଉ ଆମେ ନଉଛୁ ଏଟାକ ପିଓର ସାଇନ୍ସ ମେଥଡ ସବୁ ଆମର ଫିଜିକ୍ସ କେମିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ଏଥିରେ ସବୁ ଯୋଉ ମେଥଡ ଗୁଡାକ ୟୁଜ କରୁ ସେଗୁଡାକ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ନଉଛୁ ତମକୁ ୱିଲ୍ ମିକ୍ସ ୱାଟର ଆଣ୍ଡ ଅକ୍ସିଜେନ ଗୋଟେ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ନବା ଦ ମିକ୍ସିଂ ୱାଟର ଆଣ୍ଡ ଅକ୍ସିଜେନ in equal amount measured in water it hypothesis কিন্তু equal amount ନେଲେ hydrogen and oxygen it may not be water এটা H2O ତେଣୁ ଅକ୍ସିଜେନ ଆଉ ୱାଟରର ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ହାଇଡ୍ରୋଜେନର ପରିମାଣ ଅଲଗା ତେଣୁ ତୁମେ ଗୋଟେ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ନେଲ ଏଟାକୁ ଇଟ୍ ମେ ନଟ୍ ବି ଅଲସୋ ଭେରିଫାଏଡ୍ ତେଣୁ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ତୁମେ ନେବ ଯେଉଁ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡରେ the only thing is it is a laboratory condition it is a controlled condition the designing is different କିନ୍ତୁ ଏକ୍ସପୋଷ୍ଟ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟରରେ ତୁମ ଲାବୋରେଟରୀ କଣ୍ଡିସନ୍ ନାହିଁ ତୁମର ସିମ୍ପଲି ତୁମେ ୟୁ ଗେଟ୍ ଡାଟା ଆଣ୍ଡ ୟୁ ମେକ୍ ଏ କମ୍ପାରିଜନ୍ ଆଉ ଯେଉଁ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ତୁମର ଯେଉଁ ନେଲ ଏଇଟା ହବ ଯେ ସିଓର ସେମିତି କରେକ୍ଟ ସେଇଟା ବି ନୁହେଁ
ଆମେ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ଆମର ସପୋର୍ଟ ନ କରୁଛୁ ଆମ ରେଜଲ୍ଟକୁ ତାହେଲେ ଆମ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ ଭୁଲ ଅଛି
ନଟ୍ ଲାଇକ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଆମ ରେଜଲ୍ଟଟା ସବୁବେଳେ ଆମେ ନେଉଛୁ କନକ୍ଲୁଜନ୍ the conclusion is only a reference to hypothesis ଆମ ଯୋଉଠି କନକ୍ଲୁଜନରେ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ସପୋର୍ଟ ନ କଲା ସେଠି ଆମେ ଦେଖୁ କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ କଲାନି whether the sample is not properly selected or whether the laboratory is not properly controlled
ଆମେ ସାର୍ ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲଟାକୁ ସେତେବେଳେ ମାର୍କ କରୁଛୁ କୋଉଟା ମାନେ
ଆମେ
କୋଉ
ସବୁ
କାରଣ
କରୁଛୁ ବେଶ ଆମେ ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ମାର୍କ କରୁଛୁ କୋଉଠି ପାଇଁ ହେଲାନି କୋଉଟା ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡରେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଠି in both the cases the hypothesis may not be correct ଆମର ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ମେଥଡ ହଉ ଇଠି ମେଥଡ ହଉ it may not be correct result may not be corroborate to the hypothesis ତେଣୁ କିନ୍ତୁ ଯଦି ନହେଲା ଆମେ ଦେଖିବୁ କଜ୍ କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଠି କିନ୍ତୁ ଏକ୍ସପୋର୍ଟ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟରରେ ଆମେ ଆଉ ଏତେ ଭିତରକୁ ଯାଇପାରିବୁନି ଆମେ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ହେଲାନି ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇଗଲା ସେଠି ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ହେଲା କାହିଁ ହେଲାନି ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବା ଏସବୁ ମେଥଡରେ କାରଣ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କଣ୍ଡିସନ୍ ଇଏ ତ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ନାହିଁ ନା who can say there are so many factors who are contributing ବୁଝଛ କି ନାହିଁ ବାକି ସବୁ ସମାନ ନାହିଁ ବାକି ସବୁ ସମାନ ଆଉ ତାମାନେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ହଉଛି ଯୋଉ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆମେ ନେଉଛୁ ଆମର ଏକ୍ସପୋଷ୍ଟ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ସବୁ ଏକ୍ସପୋଷ୍ଟ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ସବୁବେଳେ ଆମର ମୋଷ୍ଟଲି ସୋସିଆଲ ଷ୍ଟଡିଜ୍ ବା ସୋସିଆଲ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ତେଣୁ ଏଥିରେ କ'ଣ ବହୁ ଜିନିଷ ଆମର ମାନେ ଆମର ଯେଉଁ କହନ୍ତି ଆମର ଫୁଲ୍ ପ୍ରୁଫ୍ ହେଇପାରିବନି ତେଣୁ ଆମର ସବୁଗୁଡ଼ାକ ରିଲେଟିଭ୍ ଜିନିଷ ସେଠି କିନ୍ତୁ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ ସବୁ ଫୁଲ୍ ପ୍ରୁଫ୍ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ସବୁ ଫୁଲ୍ ପ୍ରୁଫ୍ ତେଣୁ ସିଏ ଆଉ ଏଇଟା ଅଲଗା ବୁଝିଲ ନାହିଁ ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦେଉଛି ମୁଁ ଆମର ସାଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ ହାଉ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ୟୁ ମେକ୍ ଇଟ୍ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏକ୍ସପୋଷ୍ଟ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଭଲ କି ଶୁଣ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ନନସେନ୍ସ ସିଲାବୁଲ ତୁ ଜାଣିଛ everybody should I think everybody has the idea about nonsense syllable
yes sir
you know syllable माने थरे के उच्चारण करि पछ जोटाकू वन सिंगल आर्टिकुलेशन लाइक बॉय टॉय गॉय वंस थरे पार्टी मेला हो गले आउ थे बंद करे पड़ुनी ये सब सिलाबल तो नॉनसेंस सिलाबल कौन जार सब डिक्शनरी मीनिंग नहीं
मीनिंगलेस
boy is a word but yob yab yob or yab is also a syllable is a cbc consonant vowel consonant boy boy is a syllable yob is a syllable but boy boy is a meaningful word having dictionary meaning yob is cbc combination is a syllable having no dictionary meaning. So now see, suppose you are giving 10 nonsense syllables to a person and you are giving 10 meaningful words to a person and you want to make a study to know where memory is better in meaningful words or nonsense syllable. So now you are controlling the items. And the laboratory, there is no sound, nothing. You are giving a subject, anybody, you are giving an apparatus where you are presenting the items, then you get the result. It is an experimental study. But when you study on the attitude, there already, you have, suppose you are making a study, the attitude of the Hindus towards the other caste. Already you have attitudes. And here you cannot go like that. So the ex post facto studies are social studies or social surveys in a social context. And the experimental studies can be something in psychological context, but purely it is in a physical context, like chemistry, physics or biology. Right? So now we come to, I think we can go further. Right? कौन कहून कहीं किसी हो?
Yes, sir.
Any problem? किसी का डाउट हो बता रहे हो किसी की? Should I stop here?
No, sir. आगे को बढ़ाएंगे.
Okay. So strength and weakness of the ex post facto research is a very relevant method, and it is very relevant for the behavioral research and also for achievement studies in educational scenario, in a sociological scenario. It is very effective, and here also it has some weaknesses because we are not able to manipulate the independent variable. So the authenticity of conclusion is less in ex post facto studies, but the authenticity of conclusion is more in case of experimental studies. And here in experimental studies we are having no bias because the persons who have taken randomly, but in ex post facto studies we have taken persons not randomly because you can't get randomly there. So the sample is biased. The result is biased. Sample bias means result biased. The result is very dependable in experimental research, but the result is not that very or that much as in experimental method dependable here in ex post facto technique. And here also in ex post facto method, the researcher may not be able to provide reasonable explanation for the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable because he is not able to control. So he can't make a reasonable explanation. These are the drawback. So this is a very good method. That is the only method acceptable, available for social studies or social survey or social society-oriented studies. But still then, it lacks authenticity as much we are having in the experimental method. So now we can have another, that is the post hoc fallacy. So sometimes the researchers fall prey to the bias called post hoc fallacy. So when you cause the relationship, so when you explain the causal relationship, what is the cause of this? So here there may be two factors may be mixing. For example, suppose you are making a study like delinquency and parenthood is given here. Delinquency is the effect and the parenthood is the cause. Whereas in reality, so now suppose you are making a study on delinquency. There are some delinquents in the children are delinquent. And we say that when the parenthood, on the parental guidance, on the parental factors are negligent, then there may be delinquent. So parenthood and delinquency, they are highly related. We will say in a study that is ex post facto research. But actually, when you say about parenthood and delinquency, but the reality is delinquency is more contributed by the peer group. Friends, the children, they imitate the peers. They learn from peers. There may be many good parenthood, but still the peer group have effects. So, but we make a study that these parenting style is creating this type of delinquency. But actually, there is something like other factor to which you are neglecting. That is post hoc fallacy. Right? That is a post hoc fallacy. Because we have identified one factor, but that factor is not the real factor. It is mixed with something. It's a post hoc fallacy. Right? So it's over. So the next chapter will go, that is experimental research and field experiments. And here the same thing, identify the problem and the research. And here the experimental research, as I told you, we are having two variables, independent variable, dependent variable. And here also we are having the extraneous variable to which you are controlling. And the other, that is experimental, and the laboratory, as we discussed earlier. And there is other type of research called field research, and the field research is done in natural setting. So here we don't give any laboratory status here. In natural setting, we observe them, and here the researcher wants to study the effects of different methods of teaching, for example, lecturer and tutorial. जानिया लेक्चरिंग रे भल पिला लर्न करछंती ना ट्यूटर रे भल लर्न करछंती तेन तुम स्कूल सेटिंग ता नौछ तुम यू टेकिंग ए स्कूल द स्कूल सेटिंग इज नेचुरल सेटिंग दैट इज फील्ड एक्सपेरिमेंट द स्कूल यू आर टेकिंग द स्टूडेंट्स and giving lecturer for 1 month, then you take the same students in another occasion and give tutorial for 1 month, then you compare. Then that is the field experiments. So here you are taking the study in the natural setting, that is school. The school master padhauchandi either by lecturing or by tutorial. There the difference you are observing. But if you make this study not in the school, somewhere else, then it will be different. So teaching or experimenting something or doing research something in a natural setting is called field experimental method or field study method. And here you can see the difference. The experimental research, point 1, the subjects are homogeneous. The subjects are all selected. They are all appearing same or similar. They are homogeneous. But in the field experiment, the subjects, they vary. They are not homogeneous. And the experimental research, the subjects are in controlled condition. And in the field experiment, they are natural setting and are not controlled. And in the experimental setting, so they are manipulating independent variable. But you are not able to manipulate, or you are not able to intervene that way. And fourthly, the cause-effect relationship is clear in experimental research, but in field study, to some extent, there is accuracy in explaining, but you can't authenticate. And the prediction is very clear in experimental research. You can predict, but prediction is possible in field experiment, but with not that guarantee. So the experimental research is also quantitative, and here the field experiment is both quantitative and qualitative. And experimental research is replicable, repeated, and the field experiments are repeated, replicable, but may require modification. Not the same thing. So there are all the difference between experimental research and field experiment. And here you see the field experiments have some similarity with the exposed to fact also. So now the experimental research, the word has many things as narrated here. Now we come to the strength and weakness of field experiments. And these field experiments are very useful for psychologists, sociologists, and educationists, where experimental research is not very much possible. Secondly, it is an appropriate method for studying complex social influence. Thirdly, it is the most suitable method to test theory, and also it involves flexibility and applicability. And the weakness of this field method is the chances of extraneous variable is there. Since you are doing in field natural setting, there may be extraneous variable. Suppose you are teaching in school, there may be fan sound, there may be sound of the bird, there may be noise. You can control all these things. These are extraneous variables. And here, the consent also should be taken, and the consent is not taken in this field study. So these are all the negative factors, or you can say disadvantages. And here, in this field study, we are having how to construct the field study. So you see here, page 32. So you are having planning, you are having sampling, that I have already told you, the research design, how to do, the tool, that is the questionnaire, and the procedure, how you are doing, how you are doing, and the statistical analysis, what type of statistics you are applying. So usually when you repeat this, or two groups comparing, you use a t-test. More than two groups, you are going to f-test, answer variance. So two groups comparing, then usually you go for t-test. So that you choose. In research, there is a problem. You are having the difficulty. What is the right statistics you have to choose? That is the problem. So always you have to choose the right type of statistics. Otherwise, the interpretation will be wrong. So where to use t-test, where correlation, putting that type of product bound correlation, or the rank difference correlation, and where the chi-square, or where the answer variance. So these tests are used by looking into the desirability. Then you come to research design. So research design, you are having the plan, the structure, and the strategy, means how to do it. So all is there. Then you come to objectives of research design. The objective is the design you are using here. The objective of the design is to provide answers to research questions. We have some questions in the mind, and the objective is to give answer to all the questions. And second, to control the variance on the study. So in the design, you should see that today you are doing this, tomorrow if there is something is variant, difference, it is not dependable. So you have to control the variance. So the result you are getting means result will be always getting like that. So the result should be invariant. So there should not be variation. So now we can come to the, also the thirdly, we should minimize the error variance. The errors are always there, but always there should be, you should always minimize the error. That is the design. So in design, all these three has to be looked into. Then the criteria for a good research design. So here, you can see these types of experimental design. So the experimental design or research can be single case experimental design, or you can make quasi-experimental design. So these are you can get this between within mixed designs, means the design you are doing. So it is within a single case, observing a single case, or quasi-experimental design because you are observing this not in a controlled way. Either you are observing simply observing but in a very controlled way, or it is a design where you are going to use the factorial design or the effect of interaction. So all these things you have to read in the design. So now you come to the next, the last one is a case study. So I have to stay here because I have to know whether you are following me or not. Any problem?
No, sir.
Sir,
अच्छा
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
हाँ कहो ना कहो.
Sir, ये जो methods गुड़ा को अपन जहाँ भी कहते sir, like is it feasible on your part कि हमको गोटे माने sampling हमें कितने size नबा कथा research design टा में गोटे किमती करिया कथा. Can you just show us with the example if you have time?
कहाँ ऊपर कर चाहते करे भाई मैंने को
Sir,
कैटेगरी दो एक्सपोज टू फैक्टो ना फील्ड स्टडी ना एक्सपेरिमेंटल
field
रिसर्च
study, sir. Field study,
हाँ
sir. Field
फील्ड स्टडी
study.
नहीं इट्स सुनो
आज्ञा.
तो चाहते जानिया ପାଇଁ କୋଉ ଗୋଟେ ଚଢେଇର ବା ଗୋଟେ ଆନିମାଲର ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛ ତମେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଲାୟନ ସଫାରି ହେଇଛି ତମେ ଜଙ୍ଗଲରେ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ କାରଣ ସେ ଲାୟନ କ୍ୟାନ୍ କିଲ୍ ଏନିବଡି ଯୋଉ ଲାୟନ ସଫାରି ହେଇଛି ଏଇଠି ଆମେ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛୁ କ'ଣ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛୁ ଲାୟନଟାକୁ ତା ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲ ସେଟିଂରେ ଆମେ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରୁଛୁ ତାର ଯେ ବୁଲୁଛି ତାର ଯେ ଆମେ ଯାଉଛୁ ଗାଡ଼ିରେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ତାକୁ ଫଟୋ ଉଠଉଛୁ ତାକୁ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରୁଛୁ କେମିତି ମିଶୁଛି ସେ କେମିତି ଆଟାକ୍ କରୁଛି କେମିତି ଶିକାର କରୁଛି ଅଲ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଥିଙ୍ଗସ୍ ସୋ ହିୟର ଦିସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି ଇଜ୍ ଏ ଫିଲ୍ଡ ଷ୍ଟଡି we are doing in a natural setting. The lion टाକୁ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀ ରଖିକି ଆମେ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବା ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଷ୍ଟଡି ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ମୋ କଥା କହୁଛି ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୋର PhD କରୁଥିଲି କାମ 76-77 ମସିହାରେ ଆମେ ଟପିକ୍ ସବୁ ନେଲୁ ଆମ ଷ୍ଟଡି ହେଲା 71-72 ଏଥିରେ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛୁ ଆମେ ମୂଷାମାନଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ଆଲବେରୋ ଡ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ଆମେ ନଉ ଗୋଟେ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଆମେ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀରେ ନଉ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁ ସେଠି ଆମେ ମୂଷାମାନଙ୍କୁ ବୋକରେ ରଖୁ ଗୋଟେ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଗ୍ରୁପ ମାନେ 20ଟି ନେଲୁ ଧଳା ମୂଷା 10ଟି ମୂଷା କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ଗ୍ରୁପର 10ଟି ହେଲା ତୁମର ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଗ୍ରୁପର ଏ 20ଟି ମୂଷାଙ୍କୁ ଦିଆଗଲା ମାନେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ରଖାଗଲା ଭୋକରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ଖାଇବାକୁ ଦିଆଗଲା ନାହିଁ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଡେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦିଆଗଲା ଏଇଟା ଷ୍ଟଡି ଗୋଟେ କରିଥିଲୁ ଆମେ କରିଥିଲୁ ଷ୍ଟଡି ଦେଖିବା ପାଇଁ ସେମାନେ ଦେ ଆର୍ ଗୋଇଂ ଟୁୱାର୍ଡସ୍ ଫୁଡ ଅର୍ ଗୋଇଂ ଟୁୱାର୍ଡସ୍ ପାର୍ଟନର ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ମେଲ୍ ନେଲୁ ଆମେ ଧଳା ମୂଷା ତାଙ୍କର ଦେଇରୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଯେଉଁ ୱେ ବାଟରେ ରହିଲା ଏପଟେ ରହିଲା ଫୁଡ ଏପଟେ ରହିଲା ତାଙ୍କର ଫିମେଲ ଡ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ନେଲୁ 10 ଫିମେଲ ଡ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ଏପଟେ ରହିଲା ଫୁଡ ଏପଟେ ରହିଲା ମେଲ୍ ଡ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ଦେଖିଲୁ କୁଆଡ଼େ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ଦେଖୁଥିଲୁ ତାର କୋଉ ଡ୍ରାଇଭଟା ଷ୍ଟ୍ରଙ୍ଗର ଏଇଟା ହେଲା କ'ଣ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀ ଷ୍ଟଡିଜ বা এক্সপেরিমেন্টাল স্টাডিজ কিন্তু ফিল্ডরে তোমার এইভাবে কন্ট্রোল କରିପାରିବନି ଆମ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ପୁରା ସାଉଣ୍ଡ ନାହିଁ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଛାଡ଼ୁଛୁ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରୁଛୁ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀରେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଫିଲ୍ଡ କଲାବେଳକୁ ସେଇ ଚଢ଼େଇରେ ପକଉଛନ୍ତି ନଏଜ୍ ହେଉଛି ସେଠି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ଆନିମାଲ ରଡ଼ିଗଲାଣି ସେଠି ପୁଣି ଗାଡ଼ି ଯାଉଛି ସେଠି ଯାଉଛି ଦେର୍ ଆର୍ ଅଲ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଥିଙ୍ଗସ୍ ତେଣୁ ଫିଲ୍ଡରେ ଦେର୍ ଆର୍ extraneous variables ଯୋଉଟାକି ତୁମର ରେଜଲ୍ଟକୁ ଆଫେକ୍ଟ କରିବ କିନ୍ତୁ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚରେ ତୁମର ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରାନିୟସ୍ ଭେରିଏବଲ୍ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ହେଇଯାଇଥାଏ ସେ ଆଉ ରେଜଲ୍ଟକୁ ଆଫେକ୍ଟ କରିବ ନାହିଁ ତେଣୁ ତୁମେ କହିପାରିବ ଯେ ସପୋଜ ସିଏ ଗଲା ମୂଷା ଆଉଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ 10 ଟ୍ରାଏଲ୍ସ ସେ 9 ଟ୍ରାଏଲ୍ସ ଗଲା ଟୁୱାର୍ଡସ୍ ଫୁଡ ତୁମେ କହିପାରିବ ଯେ The hunger is more powerful a drive than the sex drive. ତେଣୁ ତୁମର ସେଠି ତୁମେ କହିପାରିବ ୱିଦାଉଟ୍ ଏନି ଡାଉଟ୍, କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଠି ବି କରୁଛ ଫିଲ୍ଡ ଷ୍ଟଡିରେ ତୁମେ ଏତେ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରଙ୍ଗଲି କହିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ, କାରଣ ତୁମେ ତୁମର ଏକ୍ସଟର୍ନାଲ ଭ୍ୟାରିଏବଲ୍ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କରିପାରେ ନାହ। ତେଣୁ ତୁମର ଫିଲ୍ଡ ଷ୍ଟଡିରେ କ'ଣ, वी आर डूइंग न्याचुराल सेटिंग। तो न्याचुराल कलाबले यू कैन डू एवरीथिंग, यू कैन कंपेयर, यू कैन ऑब्जर्व, बट द कंक्लूजन यू आर मेकिंग is not that forceful as you have done in experimental research, because in experimental research we are doing research in a controlled condition. बुझो नहीं?
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
बुझलो ना नहीं बुझलो नहीं?
Yes,
हाँ
sir.
सर, यस सर।
नहीं कहो ना, और कौन डाउट है कहो, माने एटा
No, no, sir.
सुनो ये पाठला भारी डाउट पाठला है, क्लियर हुओ नाले पुणी तो मतलब तो
Sir,
जत्ते
quasi,
Sir,
sir,
how
quasi
would it
experimental design.
कहला
Quasi experimental design.
इसमें डिजाइन
Le quasi.
कौन कहलो आउथे कहलो कोटा कहि लिखा है कुठी
Yeah.
को पेज अछि
Sir,
ए कोर्स
quasi.
की कोर्स
हाँ।
को पेज अछि
Course,
आपा कहले
sir, जो single case experimental design,
हां
quasi
Sir,
experimental
36
design.
page number.
43
36.
36
पेज नंबर
36.
36
अच्छा देखो देखो तुम तो कौन 36 हाँ राइट जो क्वाजी एटा ला क्वाजी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन क्वाजी माने
Quasi,
सेमी
quasi. अच्छा ठीक।
हमने सेमी हमारा जो गोटे जो क्वाजी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन कहती माने क्वाजी माने इट अपियर्स लाइक एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन बट नॉट एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन, इट अपियर्स लाइक एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन बट नॉट एक्सपेरिमेंटल। फॉर एग्जांपल मु पढ़ो चीज जानि परिबो, all experimental situations in which the researcher doesn't have full control over the assignment of experimental units randomly to the treatment conditions, or the treatment cannot be manipulated, are collectively called quasi experimental designs. देखो तुम एटी कौन होची the situations, all experimental situations you are doing experiment, but everywhere you are not able to have full control. Everywhere you are not able to select randomly. Everywhere you are not able to manipulate properly. So collectively you are saying this as a quasi experimental design. When you are doing it, it appears like experimental design, but still then there are some lacuna. It appears like, but still there is some lacuna. So we call it a quasi experimental design. So there are various designs in which the experimenter doesn't have full control over situations. That we call quasi experimental design. So देखो ये is possible to select subjects randomly, as pointed out earlier. In case of selected 5 students of a school and randomly assign them. So now you see, what school तुम्हें students नौचो, तुम्हें randomly नौचो school students को, तुम्हें कोई परिबो की से students माने random हेले भी समझते similar बा same नुहे, तेणु तांकर आउ गोटे फैक्टर थाई पारे, जोड़े स्टूडेंट तो नौचो, गोटे स्टूडेंट आसीची गोटे फैमिली रु जे पेरेंट्स आर वेरी परमिसिव, आउट फैमिली आसी पेरेंट्स आर वेरी अथॉरिटेरियन, आउट आसी फैमिली वेरी पुअर, all these 3 you have taken for the school, but can you say all these 3 are same in all their qualities, all their conditions? No. So say नौचो randomly सब करूचो, and you presume that they are all taken uniformly, but in fact there are some factors underlying. It appears experimental or appears a design is there, experimental design, but still it is quasi. there is still something which is not perfectly experimental. जानलो तुम्हें?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clear? ତେଣୁ ତୁମର ଏମିତି ଆମର ବେଳେ ସବୁ ଆମର ଲୋକମାନେ କହନ୍ତି ମାନେ ଜଣେ ଲୋକ ଟ୍ରୁଆଣ୍ଡ, ଜଣେ ଲୋକ ସବୁବେଳେ କହିବ ଯେ ମାନେ ଅନେଷ୍ଟି ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକ ଅଛନ୍ତି ବହୁତ ଡିଜନେଷ୍ଟ, ବହୁତ ପଇସା କୋଟି କୋଟି ମନି ଦେ ଆର୍ ଗୋଇଂ ଟୁ ଡୁ, ବଟ୍ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ୟୁ ସେ ୟୁ ଆର୍ 100% ଅନେଷ୍ଟ? ଆମେ ସବୁ ଅନେଷ୍ଟ ହେଇଛୁ, ରିଲେଟିଭଲି ଅନେଷ୍ଟ. We cannot say we are 100% honest. Nobody in the world can say 100% honest. You may be honest in your financial transaction. You may be honest in your to your word, but you may be dishonest in your behavior. Sometimes you are unhappy, but somebody asking you, "Are you unhappy?" You say, "No, I am not unhappy." Somebody asks you, "Are you hungry?" You say, "No, I am not hungry." You are hungry, but you are saying you are not hungry. So now you see, there are something we are having. We express something, but we are not really like that. It would have quasi. Quasi mane, which appears like this. We appear like honest, but we can't say like that. We are purely honest. Could you get me? Quasi. So the quasi experimental means it appears like experimental, but not 100% experimental. So now is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अच्छा कहीं पे तो slow जल्दी कहो ना सबो.
Sir,
अच्छा next I
ଗୋଟେ
come to the case study. We have less time also case study. So here this is another type of method where you study the things case wise. So the case study provides a systematic and scientific way of perceiving
Excuse
or
me, sir.
perceiving. हैं?
Sir, ଗୋଟେ doubt ପଚାରି ପାରିବି?
कौन कौन?
Sir, ଯଦି sampling size ଟା ବଢେଇ ଦବୁ କୋଉ ବି ପ୍ରକାର experiment ରେ accuracy ଟା ବଢିବାର chance ଅଛି କି?
कौन बढ़िବ?
Sir, experiment କୋଉ ବି ପ୍ରକାରର ବି ହଉ ଆମେ ଯଦି sampling size ଟା ମାନେ number of sample ଆମେ ବଢେଇ ଦବା
Naturally तुमरो sample रो size ଯେତିକି ବଢିବ ସେତିକି accuracy ଆସିବ. ଯଦି ତୁମେ sample ରେ ନେଇଥିବ 5 ଜଣ ପିଲା when n is ଆମର ଯୋଉ statistics ବୋଧେ ପଢିଥିବ when n is less than 30 we make a correction. Usually the n means number of cases in a sample should be more than 30. କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ କ'ଣ ସବୁ ନେଇପାରୁଛୁ? ଆମେ ନେଇପାରୁନୁ. ମିଳିଏ କୋଉଠୁ ପିଲା ଏତେ? ଆମ ଲାବୋରେଟୋରୀ ଷ୍ଟଡି ପାଇଁକି ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ କରୁଛୁ କି ଯାହା କରୁଛୁ ଆମେ 10 ପାଇଲେ କେତେ ହେଇଗଲାଣି? କିନ୍ତୁ usually the number should be more than 30. The sample
Okay, sir.
size, if it is less in sample size, then the result is not dependable. The more the size, there are more numbers of cases. then ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଯୋଉ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଥାଏ ଡିସ୍କ୍ରିପାନ୍ସି ଥାଏ ସେ ମନକୁ ବାଲାନ୍ସ ହେଇଯାଏ. ମନେ କରତେ 5
ଆଜ୍ଞା.
ପିଲା ନେଇଛ, 5ଟା ପିଲା ନେଇଛ, ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ କହିଲି ତମକୁ କିଏ ଆସିଛି ଅର୍ବାନ କିଏ ରୁରାଲ କିଏ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ବ୍ୟାକଗ୍ରାଉଣ୍ଡରୁ, they have inherent differences. So whatever you make a study, so this difference will be there having some effects. But the 5 ଜାଗାରେ 50 ନେଇଯିବ ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଅଛି ସେ ବାଲାନ୍ସ ହେଇଯିବ. When the number increases, the differences among themselves gets neutralized, balanced. ବୁଝଛ କି ନାହିଁ?
ହଁ sir.
ତେଣୁ ତୁମର ସାଇଜ ବଢିଲେ ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲି ତୁମର ଏ ଯୋଉ ଏରର କମିଯିବ.
ଆଜ୍ଞା.
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତୁମର ଯୋଉ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରାଯାଇଛି ସାଇକୋଲୋଜିରେ ବା ଏନିହ୍ୱେୟାର n is usually taken as more than 30. ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି ନଉଛୁ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାର କେସ୍ ନଉଛୁ, ଆଇଦର ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ନେଇଯାଉଛୁ, ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛୁ ବା ଗୋଟେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛୁ. ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛୁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲି ଏସବୁ ଭେରି ଅଥେଣ୍ଟିକ୍, we get more reliable result, more reliable information. So it uses descriptive approach to get the in-depth analysis. So various techniques may be applied on the subject like personal interview or observation or psychometric test or the archival methods or archival records. So you can use the case study. Also in clinical psychology to describe the rare events or conditions. ତେଣୁ ଆମେ ଯେଉଁ ନଉ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି ଏଥିରେ ବହୁତ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ନଉ ଗୋଟେ କେସ୍ ଜାଣିବା ଗୋଟେ କେସ୍ ଉପରେ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଛୁ ଆମେ वी आर गोइंग टू इन डिटेल तेणु विभिन्न प्रकार एंगल रू वी आर कलेक्टिंग इनफॉरमेशन एंड हियर द केस स्टडी as I told you it may be single case design or it can be a multiple case design ग्रुप रे जेमति नै पार तुमे गोटे ग्रुप विषय रे नै परिबो आमे जो नौछु ग्रुप विषय रे गोटे एसएफआई ग्रुप कि यूएसएफआई ग्रुप समग्र ग्रुप टेररिस्ट ग्रुप नौछु सब इनफॉरमेशन सब तेणु जो केस स्टडी नौछु आमे सब दैट इज गोटे इन डेप्थ इनफॉरमेशन वी आर कलेक्टिंग एंड हियर व्हाट टाइप ऑफ केस यू आर टेकिंग एक्चुअली द क्रिटिकल केसेस में नौछु आम नौछु एक्सट्रीम और डेविएंट केसेस नौछु और पैराडाइगमेटिक केसेस मॉडल गुड़ा नौछु मॉडल केसेस नौछु आम तीन प्रकार केस नौछु फॉर केस स्टडी यूजुअली जो क्रिटिकल केस नौछु गोटे क्रिटिकल केस माने गोटे के पिलाटे क्लास पढ़ुनी टेम्पो टांट्रम होउची लॉस ऑफ अटेंशन होउची ताकू आम गोटे क्रिटिकल केस स्टडी नौछु केस स्टडी नौछु से पिला केते बेले एडमिशन नेला को ईयर नेला बापा कौन करती माँ कौन करती फैमिली के जन ऑल दीज थिंग्स वी डिटेल कलेक्ट इट एंड जो एक्सट्रीम और डेविएंट केस तार नौछु बा जोटा पैराडाइगमेटिक बा मॉडल गुड़ा नौछु अच्छा एगुड़ा सब नौछु आम यही सब क्राइटेरिया नहीं आम गोटे करूँ केस स्टडी अच्छा केस स्टडी ये केते प्रकार ये 5 प्रकार केस स्टडी अच्छी आमर 4 प्रकार मोस्टली आम बेसी यूज कर 4 प्रकार गोटे हूँ इलस्ट्रेटिव केस स्टडीज एटा प्राइमरीली डिस्क्रिप्टिव स्टडीज आमर ये कौन हो माने प्राइमरली दैट मेक अनफैमिलियर और गिव रीडर्स ए कॉमन लैंग्वेज द टॉपिक इन क्वेश्चन ये कौन हो आम डिस्क्राइब कर गोटे विषय ये इलस्ट्रेटिव मीन्स गोटे केस नौ वी आर डिस्क्राइबिंग द केस एटा इलस्ट्रेटिव केस स्टडीज आ गोटे एक्सप्लोरेटरी केस स्टडी और पायलट केस स्टडी ए केस स्टडी कौन ना बिफोर अप्लाइंग एनी टाइप ऑफ बिफोर यूजिंग इन्वेस्टिगेशन आम गोटे करूँ पायलट स्टडी जानापी इफेक्टिवनेस ऑफ द स्टडी ये जो पायलट स्टडी होती कहते एक्सप्लोरेटरी स्टडी फॉर एग्जांपल तुमको गोटे दियाला गोटे इंजेक्शन दियाला वी वांट टू नो कोविड रे गोटे टीका दियागला कोविड टीका कोविड देला बेले
सर पायलट स्टडी मींस सैंपल स्टडी
ना पायलट स्टडी रे तुम्हारा 10 गोटे मिनट कौन है सॉरी जस्ट so here in the pilot study so we are taking this may be sample or maybe also actually a sample you can take on whom we can make a pilot study or a person single person you can take make a pilot study the pilot study pilot माने कौन ना जो सब गोटे पायलट जानती गोटे लीडर मान आगे गोटे पायलट जी माने जी आगुआ जाए से सब ये करने तेणु गोटे स्टडी प्रोग्राम आगुआ गोटे स्टडी करूँ जानापी यही स्टडी करुँ आम तादे कौन त्रुटि अच्छी तार कौन त्रुटि अच्छी कौन लाभ भल तार भल मन जानला आम अप्लाई करूँ रियल स्टडीटा तेणु पायलट स्टडीटा हूँ टू एक्सप्लोर द प्रोब्लेम्स इनहेरेंट इन दिस स्टडी तेणु आमर ये कौन हुए आम केस स्टडी रे गोटे आम प्राइमरी पिटफॉल ए स्टडी रे आम तो इनिशियल फाइंडिंग्स नौ तेणु आमर गोटे जो स्टडी केस स्टडी नौ गोटे पायलट स्टडी करूँ एक्सप्लोरेटरी स्टडी करूँ ये परफॉर्म बिफोर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग ए लार्ज स्केल इन्वेस्टिगेशन माने पूरा लार्ज स्केल स्टडी करने पूर्वर आम गोटे गोटे सैंपल नौ जो गोटे सैंपल स्टडी कौच जो से सैंपल ए सैंपल फरक सैंपल माने गोटे केस आम तुम सैंपल मिल कर रिपेंडिंग पॉपुलेशन से नुहे सैंपल जो आम नौ गोटे गोटे आगुआ
Yes,
सैंपल
sir.
नौ जानापी माने आम आगुआ जानले कौन तार रिएक्शन देखिरी अप्लाई करूँ जमी कोविड रे आम गोटे सांपुल नेलु कौन गोटे मेडिसिन देलु जन को रिएक्ट करुँ कोविड रे तार कौन इफेक्ट पड़ुछि देखिलु भल इफेक्ट पड़ला तापर तुम ब्रॉडली ग्रुप नेल देखिए टेस्ट कल तुम पाइल तुम भेरीफाई कर कहल तेणु तुम ये हूँ कौन गोटे पायलट स्टडी गोटे क्यूमुलेटिव केस स्टडी एटा यू सर्व टू एग्रीगेट इनफॉरमेशन फ्रॉम डिफरेंट स्टाइल गोटे स्टडी पढ़ाई तुम विभिन्न सोर्स रु नेला इनफॉरमेशन क्यूमुलेटिवली यू गेट क्यूमुलेटिव इनफॉरमेशन एग्रीगेट इनफॉरमेशन गोटे क्रिटिकल इंस्टेंस केस स्टडी एंड इट कौन टू एग्जामिन वन और मोर साइड्स इटी कौन कल तुम माने तुम गोटे पर्टिकुलर केस नल क्रिटिकल जोटा केसटा को नहीं तुम्हें तार से गोटे केस नौच तुम विभिन्न प्रकार पैटर को भारी कर तार कज एफेक्टा देखुच तेणु ये जो तुम नहीं जो केस स्टडी नौच इन चार प्रकार वे नियाऊँगी गोटे इलस्ट्रेटिव केस स्टडी एटा डेस्क्रिप्टिवली डिस्क्राइबिंग अबाउट द केस एक्सप्लोरेटिव केस स्टडी यू आर गोइंग टू टेक सैंपल्स among the samples you are going to get conclusion over the mass but a cumulative case study where you amass information about the person from different angle and critical is a case studies where you take this study in its critical condition and you just try to investigate by changing by varying the applications. The steps for the case study, the steps are 1 2 3 4 like that. You have 5 steps. Determine the present status of the case. A case टा को status रे अछि को state रे अछि. Identify the most probable antecedent. ए जो केस टा अछि ता पूर्वर कारण कोन होई पारे आइडेंटिफाई करो पचारिबो पेरेंट्स को पचारिबो स्कूल को पचारिबो बड़े पिला मको स्लो लर्नर स्कूल लेवल पढुनी तार कोन आटा कुड बी द antecedents प्राइमरी कॉजेस. थर्ड रही पारे माने वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ antecedents आम जो शुणिलु एवढा एक्सीडेंट शुणिलु यू कैन वेरीफाई दैट ये ट्रू कि सतरे रियल कि नुहे. फोर्थ डायग्नोसिस करिवो जे या हेची ये भलो हो परिबो कि नहीं यदि भलो हबो ताले कोन कोन व्हाट आर द रिमेडियल मेजर्स कोन देले तार चेंज हो बिहेवियर. एंड थर्ड रे फॉलो अप जदि से काम कला रिमेडियल काम कला ताले फॉलो अप करिवो यू रिपीट द केस सो दैट विल बी क्यूर्ड. तपर दी वेज ऑफ केस स्टडीज इन केस स्टडी तुम राइटिंग केस स्टडी तुम देखिए एनालाइज करिवो तब केस पाइबो यू राइट द केस राइटिंग एनालिसिस ऑफ केस स्टडी. सो हियर द केस स्टडी probably obtained when it is made in writing. Case studies can be used as term papers with other readings and bibliographies. गोटे केस स्टडी तुम नौच तेणु तुम्हें बिब्लियोग्राफी तार नहीं देख कि अलग रिडिंग देखिए देख तो थरोली यू कैन गेट इट फ्रॉम द पैनल ऑफ एक्सपर्ट्स गोटे एक्सपर्ट्स व्यू नब एनालिसिस ऑफ सिमिलर केसेस सिमिलर स्टडी सिमिलर केस देखिए सिमिलर स्टडी देखिक गोटे केस तुम स्थिर कर आगुरी कौन सिमिलर देखिक रेफर कर क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन बाय ग्रुप मेंबर यू कैन क्वेश्चन एंड these questions will apply and then you can make the case study. And misconceptions about case study, and here the case study sometimes there have been little misconception. The misconception about the case study for using research work are about 5 types of misconceptions. So here number 1 you can find generally theoretical knowledge is more valuable than concrete practical knowledge because one cannot generalize on the basis of an individual case and therefore the case study cannot contribute to scientific development. is gote misconception. Amaro general study or case study can contribute to scientific development. It is a misconception. Secondly, the case study is most useful for generating hypothesis, whereas other methods are more suitable for hypothesis testing and theory building. So here actually the case study that also helps you for hypothesis testing and theory building. And thirdly, the case study may affect the bias tendency toward verification, a tendency to confirm this or no. Then the case study about a conception, they a bias equally. Not that you are going to get the information and may not have a bias also. And sometimes it is difficult to summarize and develop general propositions and theories on the basis of case studies. So these are all the misconceptions. So actually, case studies in the long run, they help in getting the detailed information about the person, and the case is more analyzed, and we know all the pros and cons about the case. But the case study approach is a very relevant approach, is a good approach, and usually in our clinical psychology or clinical methods, Sigmund Freud, Sigmund Freud, he first used this case study method. And here the case study method, Freud wanted to take all the clinical cases, and here each case was detailed studied, and from that he could know what are the disease side, what can be the therapeutic side, what is the prognosis, what should be the therapy. So case studies gives relevant information about the patient. So it is widely used in clinical sites. So I just conclude this. So it is now probably 6. So any doubt you were asking? Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt you are asking or?
No.
No.
sir.
Sir,
So-
illustrative case study विषୟରେ ଟିକେ କହିବେ example.
Illustrative ଅଛି କ'ଣ ତୁମର ସବୁ ତୁମର ସେ ପେଜ କେତେ?
41.
41. ଏଥିରେ ହେଉଛି କ'ଣ ତୁମର ସବୁ descriptive. Illustrative ମାନେ you illustrate the case, ମାନେ you describe the case. Detail. ମାନେ ସେ ପିଲାଟି ଏଇଠା ଲୋକ ଏମିତି ତା ଘର ଏମିତି ୟାର ଡିଟେଲ ବାପା କନ୍ତି ମା ଡିଟେଲ ସବୁ illustrative. So illustrative means detail, descriptive. You describe everything about the case. बुझलो? Illustrative studies serve primarily to make the unfamiliar familiar and give readers a common language about the topic of in the question. So here, these are primarily descriptive studies. They typically utilize one or two instances of an event to show what a situation is like. ଗୋଟେ କେସ୍ ନେବେ ସେଇ ଗୋଟେ କେସ୍ ନେଇକିରି ତା ଡିଟେଲଟାକୁ they are going to describe. ଏଥିରେ ସବୁ ତକ ଗୁଡ଼େ କେସ୍ ନ ନେଇକିରି primarily one or two ନେଇକିରି they speak detail about the case. ହେଲା? Illustrative means the descriptive detail of the cases.
सर कुमुलेटिवरे प्रत्येक साइट रु इनफॉरमेशन आनी कि डिफरेंट टाइम रे आनी कि स्टडी करिया था.
Exactly. Cumulatively, they accumulate information from different sources. Different times rahu, different sources rahu, different stage rahu, they aggregate information about the case. And therefrom they get conclusion about the case. And the cumulative. Hello? Can we close it?
Yes, sir.
So then see you tomorrow. Tomorrow again we are having. अच्छा मत टे प्रोब्लेम मोर होची मु टे जानि परउनी मत टे आगवा टे जने वॉलंटरली मत टे लीक कर देले मु
Sir,
कर देले हैना मत पचारि परिबा जे रात्रे if you like at 10 o'clock I will be free. You can ask me if you like.
okay, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you, sir.
Okay, welcome back.
थैंक यू सर.
ରହିଲି ମୁଁ
थैंक यू सर।
ओके सर।
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye.